a dirty engine bay. Look at this. This looks filthy and disgusting. It's been through a brutal Canadian winter, and despite doing an engine bay detail every year, this is the kind of dirt and grime and dust and oils and all that kind of nastiness that accumulates over time. So today, I'm going to show you how to easily clean and detail your engine bay using safe techniques, safe methods, and products. Now, quick disclaimer, do not worry about using water in the engine bay, especially for vehicles that are less than 10 years old. Don't forget the manufacturers go through great lengths to waterproof the engine bay components. Also, when you're driving on the roads in inclement weather or when you're having rainfalls, there's a lot of that stuff that can go in there, so do not worry. Of course, you're going to use common sense. I'm going to show you the proper techniques, proper tools, proper equipment, and there's no real danger. If you do feel that there are sensitive components, you can go ahead and cover them. So if you have an exposed air filter, if you have a cold air intake on your modified vehicle, for example, or if you want to protect the ECU, you can put a plastic baggie on that. If your alternator is exposed and you want to protect any sensitive electronic or electrical components, just cover them with a plastic baggie before you start, and then you go ahead and you do the engine bay. Now, what did we do for this? First of all, you're going to see that there is a little bit of debris here on the top part. We're right now in pollen season here in Canada, pollen, I should say, sorry. So you can take a vacuum or you take I like to wear gloves when I'm detailing, so you can physically remove those and they're going to go away anyways with the pressure washer too, but remove any of these things that can also prevent water from going through, because there's drain holes all over the place and you want to make sure that the water goes freely through all this stuff. So you can pick the majority of this stuff up, you put it in the garbage. Now, for the tools and equipment, if you turn around, I'm going to show you what we're going to use today. Very simple. So a lot of people are scared to use degreasers, all-purpose cleaners. If you use automotive grade ones, no problem, they're safe. Use the proper dilution, of course, recommended by the manufacturer. But just to be safe today, we're going to use a shampoo, the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. And when you're diluting this inside your pump sprayer, so we're going to use a foaming pump sprayer. This is the IK eFoam Pro 2, a battery-powered one, but you can also use the manual one. This is the regular Foam Pro 2 by IK. So when you dilute this, it is pH neutral. The good thing about this, it rinses freely and easily and will not leave any residue behind. So nothing's going to stain. You can even use it in direct sunlight and there is absolutely no issues. It rinses off freely, again, with no residue. Tons of lubrication, which is something that we want, and is not caustic, so will not cause any damage to some plastic, some rubber parts, or anything that you might have inside your engine bay. Also, make sure when you're detailing an engine bay that it's a cool engine bay. If you just came back from a drive with your car, do not clean the engine bay right now. Just wait until it gets cool to the touch. Very important. Also, why would you clean an engine bay, right? Well, first of all, it looks much better. Also, your mechanic will thank you, because then when they're working, it's a lot easier to identify something like an oil leak, for example. So if the engine bay is clean and you see that oil leak, you can clearly see the source a lot quicker, and it's just more visually impactful. Also, if you go to resell your vehicle, it just looks like you've maintained it and have a better resale value. So there's a bunch of reasons why you do that. Now, I'm going to leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So let's dig right into this. So in here, we have about 1.25 liters of water. So the pump sprayer, we're going to do the dilution together. We have a bunch of different brushes from the Detail Factory that we are going to use, wheel brushes, fender brushes, all that can be served well inside the engine bay. If need be, we're going to have this easy detail brush as well that I usually like to use for wheel barrels and getting behind calipers. And we have an assortment of brushes from Clean by Pan, the Organizer. They come in packs of 2, so large and medium for both types. So we have the boar hair brush, so for your greater scrubbing needs, and for any ultra delicate surfaces, you have the ultra soft brushes, so just a different assortment. Again, we said we have the eFoam Pro 2. So this is a battery-powered pump sprayer. You charge through a USB cable. And this is going to basically, well, you don't have to manually pump, because that's the only caveat with foaming pump sprayers, is you have to pump them up and you're using a lot of elbow grease and you're wasting a bit of time. So this is effortless. So in there, I have approximately 1.25 liters of water. Leave some space because you want to have air inside there so the product can work on its own. We're going to take the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo. All I'm going to use here for this application is 1 ounce or 30 mils, so 30 milliliters. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. We're going to get very good foaming. We don't want it too thick because we want some cling, yes, but we also want it to get into the nooks and crannies We're going to close this back up. And I'm going to show you how safe it is if you use proper techniques. And at the end, very important to blow dry the engine bay. We're going to use this Ryobi 1 HP, 1 Plus, battery powered blower that comes with a short stubby here. And this is perfect for drying your wheels and tires, the engine bay, all those kinds of nooks and crannies. So now that we put the shampoo in here, we're going to shake this up and down. We're going to twirl it around. So now we did the dilution. So you're really not using a lot of product here, but we're going to get a good pH neutral solution that's going to work super well. Great degreasing capabilities from the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo, because it has ultra premium surfactants, dual stage of surfactants in there to clean different types of soiling. So let's start by pre-rinsing. We're going to take the pressure washer. I'm going to turn it on. There we go. Now, just like we would do on the paintwork, I like to work from top to bottom. So this portion here has exposed paintwork. For this here, it's usually either a noise suppressor or some kind of a anti-fire protective kind of coating. So be careful with this. Focus more on the paintwork. And then we're going to use the pressure washer here. I'm using a 40-degree nozzle, so it's pretty widespread. I'm only setting my pressure washer at 1,000 PSI, 2.1 gallons per minute. So it's fine to use water here. You can use a garden hose if you prefer. But the trick is, do not keep the water focused on the same spot. Keep your wand or your garden hose moving, and there's absolutely no issues or problems. But again, use common sense, and quick disclaimer once too, use these tips and tricks at your own discretion. And of course, I can't be responsible for anything, right? So this is do at your own discretion, but you're going to see just how simple this is. So let's start with a pre-rinse. All right, so that is it for step number 1. As you can see, a great improvement. So this basically removes a lot of that bigger, loose dirt, debris, chunks, all that stuff, and starts to send it back down on the ground. And now we are going to use the IK. So to turn it on, pretty simple. You have a button here. You're going to press that for 3 seconds until you see the green light. When you see the green light, you put 1 click. Then the compressor goes on. Compressor is in the bottom portion here. We're going to let it pressurize. And there you go. Now it's fully pressurized, and it's going to maintain that pressure when you're using it. So very simple to use. And you depress the trigger and you start foaming this. We're going to let it dwell for a few minutes there, and we're going to be brushing using the brushes. So we see this is the kind of consistency that we want. It's not too thick, because we didn't add too much soap. It's not too runny either. It has good cling. This shampoo is meant to cling on the surface and give it that dwell time to start emulsifying, breaking down, loosening that dirt, debris. All right, so we have our different assortment of brushes. And by the way, an engine bay detail, you're always going to want to do this step before you wash the rest of your vehicle, right? Because this is super dirty and you're going to get a bunch of runoff of grease, dirt, grime, degreasers if you're using degreasers or all-purpose cleaners. So you want to clean the engine bay first and then tackle the rest of the vehicle. So for the different brushes, you can use whatever types you want. I like to have different styles because some can get into different nooks and crannies. This larger fender well brush is great. So again, you can start with that top portion. So you're gently agitating, right? You're not working like a maniac. You're letting the product do the job, because now we're having some great dwell time. And by the way, again, with this pH neutral in solution soap, there's no problems in using it in direct sunlight, because even if it dries on the surface, it will not leave any staining or residue behind once you rinse it off. So there are no issues, and it's so safe on plastics, on your rubber components, so you don't have to be worried about using caustic chemicals that can potentially damage some stuff. And to be quite honest, you don't necessarily need all that stuff. This engine bay is not the dirtiest ever, as you guys saw, but it's still quite dirty, and you're going to see at the end, the results are going to speak for themselves. So what I'm doing, I'm basically just lightly agitating. I'm not scrubbing super hard here. We're letting the chemistry do its thing. We're just being thorough and wanting to make sure we hit the majority of the spots, right? So you're not, if you want to go for a work of art, you can spend as much time as you want on here. But if I wasn't talking and producing this video, a few minutes, probably 5 minutes tops, is all I need to get this done. And you're going to see why we also have the other brushes if need be. So I can tell it's already breaking down that loose dirt, that grime, all that yucky stuff. And it's just so satisfying to do. So I know a lot of people still to this day are scared to tackle engine bays. I've been detailing now for over 28 years at this point. I've done hundreds and hundreds of engine bays, and I still have yet to have any failure. As long as you use common sense, you use proper techniques, you're not aiming a strong stream of water on the same spot for minutes on end. So there wasn't that much water introduced, especially with the pressure washer compared to a garden hose. You're introducing much less water that way. You can use a rinseless wash method if you want. It's just going to be longer for scrubbing, but you can still get that done. If you really don't want to use any water, you can use a waterless wash too. Just more elbow grease and more time spent, right? So I'm trying to not forget anything, but now we're seeing the labels appear. All of a sudden, you can do this in here as well. So for the other brushes, you got some shorter ones, some taller ones. What I like about something like these is they can go into nooks and crannies behind stuff because those bristles allow you to get behind there. If you want even more lubrication, what you can do is spray some on the brush. Now you got a lubricated tip. And again, this allows you to get deep into places where other brushes can't necessarily access. So you're getting into places, even if you don't see it, at least you're gonna have the satisfaction that it's getting clean. And as you guys saw, this is pretty quick to do there. Not wasting much time. So get into all the spots. We're not aiming for a museum restoration. This is a DIY project that you can do at home in a few short minutes. And just make sure you're thorough and you're diligent and you don't miss any areas. Get the majority of them, like I said. Let's get behind there. My brother Andy is helping me film. Everybody loves Andy, special guest often on the show. We ceramic coated his vehicle. So we did all the preps, washing, decontaminating, machine polishing, panel prep, and then application of the clean by Pan, the organizer 8-year coating. So if you haven't seen that video, go to check it out. It's going to be a banger. So we're done with this. You can take something like the boar hair brush, a little more lubrication on here. So this allows you to get into other areas where other brushes can't and do kind of that more detailing style, right? But you can do everything if you want with that too. So this gives you basically alternatives, as you guys can see. So I can clear here. So you're getting different options once again to clean stuff, different alternatives as to which brushes you can use, and different engine bay configurations. This engine bay doesn't have any engine cover, so pretty much everything here is exposed. So I think it's easier to clean as well. It's not visually as appealing as when having a nice engine bay cover, but here I can get really as deep as I want into all these little intricate details. There we go. This cover right here. So your mechanic will thank you so much when you show up with a clean and detailed engine bay. Like we're seeing now, even these stickers, they're appearing clear again and clean. I like to see that. That's the whole purpose. And as you saw, I'm not wasting much energy. This is effortless. And now we're to the point where it's time to rinse again, because we let the chemistry do its thing and break down, emulsify the loose dirt and debris and all that good stuff. And as you can tell, we're still having some soap clinging on there. So the lubrication has been there. Absolutely no problem. Now we're going to rinse. And again, we're going to rinse from top to bottom. Same thing. right, now for probably the most crucial part is the drying. So although you could technically call it a day and close the hood here and just let it be, I prefer to use a blower. So that's going to blow all the water out of the majority of the nooks and crannies. So we're using, again, this Ryobi 220 CFM blower. I did a full review on my channel. Great for doing wheels and tires, for example, to dry them off. Always wear ear protection. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this and use that blown forced air to remove all the majority of the possible water. That way we don't have water that's staying there for absolutely no reason and potentially causing some harm if it just sits there. So let's go ahead. All right, guys, look how much better this looks. So we removed, I'd say 95% of the water. What we're going to do of course, everybody's waiting for this moment. Is it going to start? We're going to start the engine. Open the garage door if you worked in a garage, or if you're outside, even better. Let the engine run maybe 5 minutes. That's going to finish drying off whatever else is left. But you can tell, look how much better that looks. That is pretty awesome. So what you can do also, if you guys like a dressed finish, so depending, you can like the natural look. If you want to apply some protection on your plastics and rubbers, you can use the Clean by Pan, the Organizer tire dressing. Not only is it amazing as a tire dressing, but it leaves that OEM kind of sheen, but sheen plus, a satin finish. Not too oily or greasy looking, but not too matte looking either. So if you like that kind of look, you can use this. You can use a spray applicator, or you can use a foam applicator and apply this with a pop top cap, or you can use a sprayer, trigger spray that you can attach to the bottle, spray that on a brush that in, whatever you guys prefer. And it's going to leave a hydrophobic layer of protection. So it's going to give some water beading, make the engine bay easier to clean, and it's going to help to repel dirt and dust and all that kind of stuff, and just make it easier for maintenance. So if you want a dressed look, you can do that as well. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, I will go and start the engine. So Andy, you can show us if everything works. And there you go. Absolutely no problem. Of course, again, use these tips and tricks at your own discretion and at your own risk. Legally speaking, I have no choice but to mention this. But you saw it is pretty simple, and you don't need 1,000 different products. What we used basically is the Clean by Pan, the Organizer shampoo, multi-use. Fantastic to clean your vehicle. You can put this in a foam cannon if you have a foam cannon and you want to snow foam your engine bay. You can put it in a foaming pump sprayer like we did here. You can use this as a bug pre-treat depending on the dilution. You can use this as a clay lubricant. It has multiple uses. Rinses freely. You can use it in direct sunlight. And as you saw, it doesn't leave any staining, not even on the plastics. There's no residue left behind, so it's not caustic. It will not damage your plastics or your rubbers. It has pretty strong degreasing capabilities, even though it's pH neutral once you dilute it. So just a fantastic soap overall. Smells amazing too. But now we're left with a clean engine bay that looks amazing. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, drop comments in the comment section. I remind you that all the tools, products, and equipment that we used, I'll leave those linked in the description under the video. The Clean by Pan lineup, if you guys haven't checked it out, we have everything from shampoos to rinseless washes to spray polishes, panel prep sprays, fantastic ceramic coatings, a 3-year and 8-year coating, an interior quick detailer, an exterior quick detailer, an iron remover. We're going to have some different soaps, alkaline, acidic, basically for all your needs. A wheel and tire cleaner. We have a tire dressing. We have a ceramic spray sealant. There's so much things. The lineup is getting bigger and bigger, and thanks to you guys for making it so successful. You made this channel one of the biggest car detailing channels on YouTube. I have each and every one to thank for all of that, and thank you for your support. But yeah, as you guys hopefully saw, look at this end result. And if you want to check out more car detailing videos, all the tools, products, equipment, tutorials, all that bunch of cool stuff, over 1,000 videos, check those out on my channel. And in the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.